Kathy Vick, deeply awake, and I think I might have to reconsider my part. I don't know. I might have to get my hair reshaped by Melissa, the great and powerful Melissa. I don't know. But I do know that I love my hair, and I'm really loving my life, and I am here again. What the heck? What's up with that? Well, it's because yesterday I did an hour-long video, and the tone was somber. The content was great. It was beautiful, but it was somber, and for some reason that really struck me as unpleasant. Late last night, as I was reviewing the day, and then this morning too, I was that familiar feeling of and that's nice, because I think it's fine that the tone was somber. It's appropriate, but I realize that what I'm guilty of these days is speaking to a group of people who I am less and less a member of, and that's new. And so I wanted to talk about it because it's about lightening up. See, I used to be like super depressed, existentially depressed, and so it really wasn't. There's no antidepressant that fixes that. When you're just like soul fatigued, it was like that, and that was it was. I'm still sort of feeling the reverberations of that, but it was my process to get really super soul fatigued, and I equate that with existential depression. You know, meeting a minor setback and going, oh my God, not again. You know, having the stapler jam and wishing you could just not be here. You don't want to go through the fuss and muss of killing yourself. You don't really want to die. You just would prefer not being here. Oh my God, not again. Like that. And so a lot of my talks are not only talking to her, but talking to others like her. Is that okay? Well, I think given that these are viewed by more than just me, that yeah, it is okay. And although I would like to think that, you know, like a bolt of lightning is going to come down and make everything all better for everybody, for all time, ever and amen. My guess is that there will always be people who will want to feel better, and who haven't really considered spiritual means of getting to feel better, and who might be helped by someone who can relate to not feeling all that great and getting better. So there is validity to the somber ones. But what I'm noticing is that I've been talking about it, that there's just less and less anxiety, less and less worry, and that actually is a theme through it all. But it is really, it's a force to be reckoned with as time passes. And so I had been hoping that there were certain things that I found rather intolerable that they would resolve. And I had given up any hope that they ever would. And I had tussled with my own real fresh existential depression and a fresh desire to just not want to be here because it's too hard. What? Is it never going to get easy? Like that. And so that was not very much fun. You'd think that that would ease a little bit as time passed, but there it was in my face again. And I really kind of had it talking to myself that, you know, if I can't resolve this one area because it is so intolerable, and because by not resolving it, it means that I just really didn't get the memo. I just really failed. I'm missing something so necessary. And, it's just like, this has got to, there has to be a solution to this. It would come to me now and then with many such issues. The reason that you can't solve this problem, the reason why this doesn't make any sense to you at all, the reason why you simply can't understand it, it's because it's not your problem. You're on someone else's time. You're clocking time in someone else's puzzle. That helped. And finally just reaching a place of needing to go on, needing to go forward, not giving it a whole lot more attention, and trying to build on things that were fun and felt good. So now I'm seeing this all pay off, and that's why I really want to kind of play just for a couple minutes. I do talk about things and times that are hard, and the resolution of these things. So as long as I'm talking about resolution, I think I'm allowed. But I've been so relieved that less and less time is spent in my day with dark things, with things that make me upset or sad or angry or wanting to leave. When I realized that some of the things that have been really torturing me because I can't solve them, well, it's because they're really not for me to solve. They're for me to stand in the middle of and hold light. I began to see a shift. And it's been a really good shift. But I would say probably it's been a process of well over a year of more and more, having more and more time to spend on happier things. And so, that's really escalated like the last month, and I would say the last couple of weeks. So I'm painting a lot more, creating, and reading, running around town more, socializing more, connecting more. And so I kind of want to mark the improvement with how I got there and what the effect is, which is a lightening, a further lightening. What is there to worry about? What am I holding anxiety about? Well, precious little. And it's mainly because I know I'm safe. And I've mentioned that before. It's I was told about a year ago, I needed to heal. And the way that a person heals, the very first thing that has to happen is that harm has to stop. I thought, yeah. There is harm that is done person to person, and there is harm that is done self to self, inside oneself. I'm really not like that. I just, I had some things I needed to work out, and I had people and situations that I needed to put in their proper place. And that means that they all are stories, and there's only so much power I'm going to give a story. That doesn't mean that that their reality isn't heart-popping and mind-blowing and well worth hearing about. But it's not my responsibility. And it just feels like I've been removed from this maelstrom of feeling so deeply, feeling everything so deeply. It feels so good to be released from that. It's just something I don't have to do anymore. And I know I was doing it partly for the collective, partly because that's how I had gotten used to thinking reality worked. And I don't know, I think some of this stuff is just plain old being gifted, being given gifts. That's how I feel, especially the last about 2 weeks or so, 2 or 3 weeks. It's just been really an amazing time since the solstice. And maybe the 12/12, I don't know. So, this is just a check-in, because things are so light. And it seemed very valid at one point to say things really do seem light, and then to feel like sort of an obligation to spend some face time with the poor people who don't have light, or me when I didn't have light, and and I'm not doing that now. I noticed it with my kid. He's been having a series of improvements, and he brought it to my attention, and I brought it to my own attention too now. It really can just be celebrated. A win can just be celebrated without revisiting how it used to be, to add contrast, to see, wow, check this out, look at this improvement. That used to be really helpful to do, especially when the change was tiny or the increments were long apart. But I don't live like that anymore. It's synchronicity is more like just the fabric of life. I trust, and I feel safe because I am safe. I haven't tricked myself into a feeling of safety. I'm safe. Sort of like being in love. Can you prove you're in love? Can you prove you're safe? Well, I think to each state, there are markers. There are things in a person's life that have to be there for that state to be there. But the state can be there without the markers. reality can be there without the proof. The reality can be there without a target or an other. So, I hope this isn't too somber. Anyway, for me, I mean, a lot of this is just, it always felt very magical and very like, I don't know how I brought on feeling so good. All I can do is really just enjoy this and ride it, describe it, maybe discuss what led me here, and then hope to God it comes back again soon. And it's not like that anymore. Part of it is just giving myself permission to not worry. Noticing what I'm saying and thinking, and that takes slowing things down. This I truly believe is a dispensation of this energy. It's actually slowing down certain processes for review and removal, and it's really helpful to have a conversation that used to just seeing that person's face could elicit a shutdown. It's not like that anymore. And the whole conversation can play out, and in real time, you can see, I can see why I would really freak out. Why that would be triggering. Oh, look what they're doing now. And in real time, being given or thinking up different responses, which not only preserve my sense of intactness, but the person who's in front of me, who might have just elicited a brick wall for me in years past. And now, in real time, there's a fluidity of communication and of response without reaction. And I really do, this is, I believe, truly a dispensation of the energy. It's very helpful. You don't have to use it, but if you want to use it, there you go. So I'm going to just go from pleasant thing to pleasant thing. It used to be really hard for me if I would go from unpleasant thing to unpleasant thing. And then began to realize that it was my definitions. And when I got to really feel what that unpleasantness was, and I began to realize that I was just scared and not supporting myself, not honoring myself, and sometimes sabotaging myself, then things got easier. They really did. As always, I've always said, well, maybe this is just a blog of someone who is dealing with really good ways to self-improve. And I don't think that's about self-improvement. It's about self-acceptance. It's about light. It's about ascension. It's about DNA activation, human evolution, physical mastery. And everybody gets to decide what that means for themselves. If you expect me to do certain things to prove to you that I am a master or have mastery, well then, you probably won't be getting that. Just because I'm like that. And so, this is, if nothing else, a quantum reality. You're going to see what you can see. what you're able to see. You're dialed in to see. And my feeling is that the part that is us, that we are made of, is pretty excited about evolution, about evolving, about not being encumbered in guilt and shame and, survival crap, but that is more light and happier, more functional, more on purpose, more compassionate. And a less encumbered expression of divine joy, which is, I think, well, I know, is our inheritance, our natural state. So, anyhow, happy task to happy task. I think I'm going to go lay down and rest, and then I get to go see my friend. And I hope that you're enjoying where you're at. I hope if it sucks, you don't believe it'll last. And if you're beginning to feel solid, please don't imagine that's going to go away. Yeah, all things change, but the things that are true, pure, healthy for you, well, to each their own. But those are the things I think we need more of. And I know that for me, I'm not really paying attention too much to the outside. It had been, the darkness had been at a place that was amusing, and certainly not declawed, but was fairly predictable. And then just recently there's been a shift, and it is so highly distortive right now, that energy, that I really I'm not without mindfulness when I am shifting from just me knocking around the house to any other endeavor. It makes sense to invoke what is not so much protection at this point, but conscious awareness of my interdimensional reality as I'm leaving the house and as I'm going about my affairs. And it can be thought of as just being in the observer role. It can be thought of as just being more mindful of God stuff, or I can have the moniker of protection and a little pretty meditation. I think they're kind of the same thing. I'm not afraid of anything out there or in here, but there are certain enhancements and certain things that when I dial them a certain way, they work better. And that's kind of what I'm working on now, as well as finding better ways of filling my time now that I've sort of made a commitment to having finished the look-back period, the compare and contrast period. Notice how it used to be, and look at how it is now. Whenever anything good happens, I'm just letting the good stuff ride. You think of that? So I thought I'd pass that on. Isn't that pretty? And and wishing health and happiness to you and yours this day and in all days. Selah.